Hello, my friends. I'm excited to bring you part two of our studio staffing success series. And today I want to talk about building up leaders in your studio. And there's a few reasons why this is important. The first is that it's our job as business owners to develop our team members to help them learn and grow and become stronger professionals in the field. It's also important because it will relieve us of the day to day stressors and decisions that we have to make and things that we need to do. By having leaders in place, they will help supervise and support the staff that you have. And it also leads to staff retention when you take the time to invest in your team members. So I want to talk about that today. Welcome to Life Coaching for Dance Studio Owners. Each week, we talk money, mindset, and self-care to help you live a more peaceful life and lead a more profitable business. Let's get started. So first, I want to talk about how our job is to develop the leaders within our business. And the reason why it's our job is because it can't be anyone else's job. We are the owners, the directors, the leaders, the visionaries of our businesses. So we have to take on that role and that responsibility and take it seriously. And one of the things that only we can do is convey what our processes are, our policies, our brand voice, if you will, all these things that we know and are in our head. We need to convey that and share that with other people. Otherwise, we will always be the go-to resource for everything our staff needs or has questions about, everything our customers need or have questions about. And that is not where we want to be. When we think about that as our job and our responsibility, I want to emphasize that yes, it's our job to do this, but it's also our responsibility to not just say, hey, Mary, you're now in charge of other people, or hey, Susie, I need you to handle the competition team. When I say it's our responsibility, I'm talking about the larger picture here. And when I'm talking about the larger picture, that involves actually training them, giving them the resources that they need, passing on the knowledge, passing on like any specific things that you do in your business that are not industry standards. Also, that could include professional development, sending them to outside coaches, trainers, certifications. I say that because so often I hear from people who say, I never got any training for my job. I never got this, I never got that. And they just expect me to know what to do. And in fact, I have talked to business owners who basically they rebuke their staff and they're like, you should know what to do. You've been working here for 5 years. But in fact, they never told them what to do or shared any information or processes. So very important that not only do you accept that role, but also the responsibility of bringing up leaders within your organization that will help to grow. Now, the second part that I want to talk about is how training up and bringing up leaders in your business will help relieve you from the day to day. I know everybody knows that delegating can be a real game changer when you start to take on more customers, to take on more work, and especially for those of you who are still working a full time job while running your studio, or even a part time job while running your studio. There will also be times then, even then, where you should have staff or volunteers who can help do these things. And what I like to do when it's time for me to kind of figure out who might be a good leader is I look at their work ethic. What are their habits? How do they keep themselves organized? How do they deliver results that exceed expectations? How do they create their own tasks and way of work without being prompted to? Because you're going to need self starters. Please don't just select the teacher who has the best choreography to be a leader. Do they actually have the skill set? Do they have the ability to be a good leader? Now, some things can be taught. You can teach people about systems, about how to supervise, about how to be encouraging, how to do reviews, those things. But if they don't have the work ethic or the personality where they want to support and be a cheerleader for others, it can be really challenging to develop a leader out of that. You want to select people who may not necessarily be the most outspoken, who may not necessarily be the ones who have all the confidence in the world, because a lot of great leaders are still working on their confidence. They're working through their own anxieties and issues. But it does not mean that they cannot be a good leader. And I want you to remember that, because I know that there's many great studio owners, in fact, who are working through daily issues with anxiety, imposter syndrome. It affects everyone, so don't let that be a reason to not allow someone to rise through the ranks. I also want to encourage you to not just pick people that you like. Don't just pick people who are your family, friends, relatives, because they may not be the best fit for a leadership role in your business. And in fact, it will not only look bad, but it can create a lot of problems if you are only having leaders who are close to you. And then I want to talk about the third piece. The third piece is retention. When you have all frontline staff and no leadership opportunities, it means you have no room for growth at your company. Could you imagine what it might be like to work at a bank as a teller and know that there is never any opportunity for growth to stay with the company but learn new skills and make more money? You wouldn't want to stay there but for so long. If you look at your studio in the same light, you realize that being a dance teacher is a great profession, but that's not all somebody might want to do. Maybe they want to help with the marketing. Maybe they want to be recognized for, their ability to help you with administrative things during recital time. Maybe they want the option to rise through the ranks, maybe become an assistant director one day. When you show that there's opportunities for growth, it makes it more attractive. It gives people something to look forward to, something to work towards, and there's a lot of value in that. When they see that there's actually a way to grow and to earn more and to do more with a company that they really love. So often people leave jobs because there is no room for growth, or they have to wait out the person in that position. And I would argue that that is not the position that you want to be in with your dance studio. For the large part, we are in a position of hiring women. So many women are in this industry. And how great would it be if together, as owners, we empower, we support, and we encourage other women in this business? What if, instead of being fearful of giving away work or delegating to people, if instead of that fear, what if we thought of it as opportunity? Maybe they take that opportunity and grow your business fivefold. Maybe they take that opportunity and free up your time so that you can do things with your family. Maybe they take the opportunity and they choose to stay with your company and help you grow because of how well you treat them. Because they've had the opportunity to gain new skills and make more money, they stay with your company. And that will save you thousands and thousands of dollars. It is so much more affordable to develop your team than it is to go out and start fresh, to advertise a job, to rewrite the job description, to spend your time interviewing people, to spend your time background checking and reference checking and all the things. And then to train them, to give them the tools to check in, to do the onboarding. You see, it is expensive to have to keep hiring people year after year. And while it is inevitable that you're going to need to bring new people into your business, It is more important that you look at the big picture. Your student retention isn't the only retention that matters, it's your staff retention. I would even go so far to argue that if you have strong staff retention, it helps your student retention. When I started out this current season, I was surprised and taken aback because there was a group of new preschool dance families that came in, and the parents asked me very specific and strange questions. In fact, they asked me if it's going to be the same teacher every week, or will we be changing instructors frequently? And I said, no, this particular preschool teacher has been with us for 3 years. And most of our staff on average stay with us between 5 and 10 years. They just stay with us until, maybe they get a new full-time job or they move out of the area. We don't have this big staff turnover issue. And I remember these, new people, they were doing a trial class for the preschoolers. They said, well, good, because the studio we came from, every week it was a different teacher. We never got to know who they were. It just didn't seem like a stable place to be. And it was constantly another person in one, out the other. And it didn't feel right. And they didn't want to keep their child there. You see, that's an extreme example of having no staff retention. And I would argue that if you are struggling with staff retention, consider what it might look like for you to raise up a few leaders in positions that you need. If there's things that you need in your business, that's a perfect opportunity to see if your existing staff might want a few more hours. And this doesn't have to be some huge full-time job. I'm talking, what if somebody just pitched in an extra 3 hours a week and they did the social media and did something that wasn't getting done? What if they do 5 hours a pay period and all they did was like make copies of the coloring books and do the birthday cards and decorate for the holidays and do these extra little warm and fuzzy things that you wanted to get to but never did? You see, when you recognize the talents and the time of your staff, you get retention. You're treating them with dignity, respect, and value, and that will lead you to some serious staff success. So, I want a quick recap before we wrap up this episode. Remember that when it comes to creating leaders, we need to remember it's our responsibility to do that. It's not an option. It is absolutely our responsibility. It will lead to reducing the burden on you to do everything all the time, and you'll get free time back to yourself. And thirdly, it leads to staff retention. It helps keep those team members in, bringing them into the fold, and they are able to not only support you, but to grow professionally. My friends, I want to remind you all that this is a journey. This is not something that's going to happen overnight, okay? Take a moment to think about what are the things that you're doing in your business that you don't need to be doing or don't want to be doing. And that's going to be your starting point. If you don't have any leaders in place or you're not sure where to start, write a list of the things that you don't need to be doing, you don't want to be doing. And from there, you will find that you now have a list of responsibilities that you can train and support someone else to do. And when you do that, you will find that there will be people, staff, who can take on more and learn and grow and help you grow your studio. I wish you the best. Take care. Hey there, it's Ginger. Thank you for listening to today's episode. Be sure to subscribe so that you never miss another episode, and leave us a review and a rating so that more people can listen and enjoy as well. Thank you so much.